May God's peace and blessings be upon us all. The time has come for the people of God to speak to the people of God. God's holy word is a biblical perspective on the times and the events of today. And as always, we seek to educate you, to entertain you, and to evangelize you, to keep you aware of the things that are going on in the world today. Please like, share, and subscribe, for if you share the know, then the show will grow. And if you share the know, then the word will go. We're on a mission to make America righteous. And as an informed believer, as an informed Christian, today's topic is going to be keep your eyes on the money. We'll have a section concerning Trump's tariffs, the DOGE heist, the suffering of Putin, and how India is ditching the dollar. So let us discuss Putin and the war that is currently going on in Ukraine. For we find today that Putin finds himself under pressure as he has lost so many military vehicles that he is now been designated to using civilian vehicles to transport soldiers to the front line. He is borrowing soldiers from North Korea to assist him in his fight. And from my understanding, they are dying quickly. They are being labeled as cannon fodder. And in the midst of borrowing soldiers from North Korea, Ukraine deals him a very powerful blow. For my understanding, they have killed the leader of that elite unit that he calls his death squad. I think the guy's name is Armin Sargazian, but he has been killed. And nonetheless, he was killed at home. Nonetheless, he was killed at a luxury condo. And so I'm quite sure that that has all of those who are connected to Putin, from the rich oligarchs to all of those who assist him in his government and assist him with this war. I'm quite sure that the fact that they now realize that, as they say in the streets, you can be touched anywhere. Anybody can get touched. If you can get touched at a luxury condo where they not only kill you, they kill a couple of your security guards also, then I'm pretty sure that that comfort that you had in Putin's backing, that comfort that you have in the wealth that you have in Russia, I'm pretty sure you're still not feeling oh so comfortable with the war in Ukraine continuing as of today. So, the 72-hour war, Russia said that they were supposed to take this country and destroy this country and break these people's will within 72 hours. And now it appears as though the Ukrainians, led by Zelensky, they are putting up a good fight. So now let us move on to India. For as we know, India has a very large economy. If I'm not mistaken, they are like the third or the fourth biggest economy in the world. They are definitely within the top five. And India always seems to keep pace with whatever the rest of the superpowers are doing in the world, which is why some of the moves that India makes around the world has a potential to draw attention from Americans or from very bigger countries or bigger economies, because India is indeed a player in this game that attention must be paid to. And so, what has India done that has made a major ripple in the markets across the world? What they are doing is India has made a huge investment in gold. They are buying up gold by the tons, and they are effectively dumping the dollar bill. And it's not just India. For as we as Americans come to think that the dollar bill is accepted around the world, which is actually true If we go back to around the 70s, the dollar bill was at an all-time high around the world as a global currency. And it was also to the point to where I believe that most countries and institutions in their reserves, they were carrying about 80% of the US dollar as finances for their reserves because the dollar carried that much weight. But now, as we fast forward to 2025, we will find that the dollar does not carry that much weight. The dollar has effectively lost so much value until we ourselves feel the nature of the decline of the dollar right here at home. If we were to just think about something as simple as buying a can of Coke, which perhaps 15 to 20 years ago was 50 cents, and you was like me, cheap, and went to that Walmart soda machine where they had that quarter drink at, then you know what I'm talking about. Because a 12-ounce can of Coke or a 12-ounce can of Pepsi today is probably about $1 and $1.25. So, as Americans, we must realize that we no longer live in the 1970s. We no longer live in a world where America can just dominate and continue to dominate everyone and continue to dominate the world. For now, we live in a world where, as opposed to being 80% of the world's reserves for currency, the dollar bill has fallen to somewhere around 40% of the world's economy, which means that people are no longer valuing the dollar as much as they used to. And so, if the world looks to diversify their portfolio, because that is the excuse that India used for not putting so much faith in the dollar bill and putting more of their finances into gold reserves, that they are diversifying their portfolio. So, if India is diversifying their portfolio away from the dollar, if the world is diversifying their portfolio away from the dollar, and we at home ourselves understand that the dollar's value is not what it used to be. That is a common saying amongst the people of today, that the dollar just doesn't go as far as it used to go. So there is a indeed a knowledge, or at least a hint in the air, that we do not have total faith in the dollar any longer. So it is no longer dollar dollar bill, y'all. So I say to us, if the rest of the world is de-dollarizing, de-dollarization at its finest, then what are we to do? And again, at home, we come to Donald Trump, who has tariffed everyone. He had a tariff war against Canada, where he won. He won because he got Canada to tighten up their measures along the border, and he also got them to add a marshal, one person, who would be responsible for overseeing the department. So he won that one. Donald Trump's tariff war against Canada, he won. The tariff war against Mexico, he won again. Donald Trump got Mexico to agree to put 10,000 troops at the border to control their immigration and to control the transportation and smuggling of fentanyl. So he won against Mexico. The only problem is that he won after Joe Biden had already won. He won against Canada on a deal that Canada had already passed with Joe Biden in December of 2024. He won with Mexico with those 10,000 troops which was the same deal that they made with Joe Biden. The only difference was Joe Biden got them to make good on these promises without slandering them in the news, without threatening terrorists and imposing tariffs upon them, wasting, paper and process and motion and man hours and wasting public money. Joe Biden got all of that done for free with no threats. And Trump got all of that done by making threats and wasting taxpayers' money. But he also won. I guess it is possible to win twice on the same issues if you count that one win two times for two different people. It's possible. So he won. And while that is going on, my people, I say to you around the world, around the country, keep your eyes on the money. Because whether you realize it or not, the DOGE heist is in full effect. The DOGE heist is on. The DOGE heist continues with Elon. Because Elon is indeed saving money. But while he's saving this money, and he spoke about how transparent he is going to be while he saves Americans this money. It is a good thing to save this money. I'm totally for going through this government, auditing these files, and saving this money. Totally for that as an American taxpayer. But I have a few questions. One of my questions is, he's continuing to save us money. Thank you, Elon. While he is never explaining where this money, these savings, will go. Do these savings, does this money, does it go back to the regular people? Or does this money go toward billionaire tax cuts that benefit you also, Elon? When it's time to go to the Department of Defense and check their budget, do you take money you save from another department, Elon, and put it into the defense budget because that's the budget that pays you the most? Or do you save that money for the people? And if you save that money for the people, exactly which people will that money be saved for? Are we going to take that money and finance free health care for the country? Are we going to take that money and send it back out as stimmy checks for everyone? Since it's money that's already been paid, that should not have been paid, that sounds like if you paid money that you should not have paid, that it should be considered as a refund. Are we going to get that money back, Elon? Or is that money going to find its way the same way that 80 to 90% of the income of the country finds its way up into the hands of the people who control all of the money, to your tech bros, to the big boy donors? Are those going to be the people who get these savings? Because it internally means that if the savings are not going to be distributed to the people, then are they really savings? Just a question that I was having. Sometimes, a mind makes you wonder, what are they going to do with that money? Could possibly just be me. As always, please like, share, and subscribe because if you share the know, then the show will grow. And if you share the know, then the word will go. Help us make America righteous. Help us make the world righteous. This is God's holy word. And as always, it is time to evangelize and give you another verse for another day on this earth. And today's verse will be coming from Romans at chapter 8. Romans at chapter 8 at verse 11. I will be using the King James Version, whatever version you use. If it suffices for you, it is fine with me. Romans chapter 8 at verse 11, and it reads on this wise. But if the spirit of him that raised up Jesus from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up Christ from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his spirit that dwelleth in you. Amen, amen, amen to the word of our God. And so with that, I say to you, and I want to leave you with this thought process. For us as a people to constantly be aware of what is going on around us, for us to study things that, perhaps sometimes when someone gives you something, it is still a good idea to research it to discover how much truth is in the situation. Sometimes it's always better to look past um, the picture that is being presented to you. Sometimes it is better to do research and find out the history of a thing. Because the thing about life that we have found out and that we have seen is that history attempts always to reproduce itself. Consider that. And so I say to you today, think of Romans chapter 8 at verse 11 about the Spirit of God that dwells in you. And I want to leave you with that for you to think of the power that dwells in you, God's holy word. As always, all sponsorships, all super chats, super stars, super stickers, sponsorships, and subscriptions, they all go to furthering the gospel, helping us make America righteous and making the world righteous. And with that, I say, may God bless you and keep you. Please like, share, and subscribe.